Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Crossroads. Our heroes today are going to be VonIvan playing as the Soviets of the Blue Army. And his opponent is going to be none other than Jesulin playing as the OKW forces in the red. Well, I'm back, guys. As you may have noticed, I was away for a week, and I apologize because I realized after leaving that I never actually left a notice saying that I was going to be gone. I did mention it in the previous videos, but I never made an official announcement of it, so sorry. But I'm back now, and what better way to come back than to come back swinging with a, hopefully, good game. From the WPC, the World Paint Championships between two juggernauts of the battlefield. VonIvan and Jesulin. Should be a hell of a game. Let's see what happens. So for now, we see VonIvan getting himself his Doctrine right off the bat, and that's of course the guard motor coordination tactics. And opening up with Tier 2, getting himself some Maxims. Got one out on the field right now, over on the right-hand side. Going to be catching that Stormpile squad out in the open and forcing it to crawl around. May be able to pin it down. It looks like it's going to be able to crawl out of the way, but the Maxim machine gun will pursue, so the Stormpile squad probably won't have much of a chance to do much here. But regardless, he is getting himself a second Maxim machine gun, and we will see if the intent is to spam or just to have those early on, because 2 is okay. 2 is not spam. For Jesulin, though, we do see him getting Volksgrenadiers, 2 in total, and then getting himself that Kubelwagen. Kubelwagen currently out on the field, up in the north, capturing points and driving around, feeling pretty cool. So the Maxim machine guns on the field, one in the center, holding up a Volksgrenadier squad as it crawls out of the range of fire. And the other one on the far right-hand side, having engaged the Stormpiles, going to be going for that fuel point. And, you know, denying the ability for Jesulin to have too much fuel, because he had both points connected for a little bit of time. So that does give him a little bit of extra fuel there that might prove useful. Kubelwagen on the left-hand side, engaging combat engineers. VonIvan did get himself 2. And while the squad on the left-hand side quickly gets forced to retreat. So right now, Jesulin seeming rather superior here at the start. Got 3 Volksgrenadier squads on the Kubelwagen, able to maneuver around and controls a lot of territory. We do have Maxim machine guns littered around the place here for VonIvan, as he does get himself a third one. So now going into the spam territories. But we'll see how that works out for him. They are not the units they once were, and it's not as viable as before to go just Maxim machine guns, but they're still good at it. And again, you know, it's one of those things where the game itself allows it because of the fact that you are able to cap by just standing in the zone. Back in the original Company Heroes, you actually had to click on the flag and, you know, interact with it to be able to cap the point, which meant that if you were trying to use a machine gun to do so, well, you could, but it was just going to sit there and not actually shoot. So it was a little bit tougher. So anyway, center map, big engagement here as combat engineers with flamethrowers just flaming around, throwing a lot of damage there on Stormpiles and Volksgrenadiers, forcing retreats. Kubelwagen tossed into the mix to help a little bit, but we do have the Maxim machine guns hold up inside this house, and, well, it's just littered across the field in the front, able to put out a lot of firepower and force the retreat. We do have a Volksgrenadier squad for Jesulin hidden behind the map. Going to be popping inside that house, getting a nice little flank going here on these Maxim machine guns, although Maxim machine guns, bit of a tough spot now there as they are getting shot in the back. This one in the center will be forced to retreat rather quickly, or it will die, and it looks like it might actually be risking dying. Going to be retreating straight through the path of the Volksgrenadier squad. Volksgrenadier squad gets a nice volley going. There's one man. There goes the other. So the weapon is there for the taken. Will Jesulin go for the steal? It looks like he is going to be trying to go for the steal. We do have 2 Maxim machine guns up in the north in the way, so it's a little bit of a risky maneuver. Combat engineers moving forward, getting right on top of the stolen Maxim machine gun. Flamethrower burst going off, getting a little bit of extra damage, but it looks like the Volks for Jesulin are going to be retreating in a bit of a better angle here, forcing it to go to the right, avoiding all the enemy from the center for VonIvan and allows Jesulin to come out with the stolen Maxim machine gun. VonIvan getting himself a conscript squad now on the field, a little bit more combat capable, and of course that merch ability is so sweet, especially to keep weapon teams alive and out on the field. Maxim machine gun catching a Volksgrenadier squad out in the open, but getting turned around and caught by the Kubelwagen. Forced to retreat as the other Volksgrenadier squad inside this house is engaging the combat engineers. Combat engineers do pop out with their flamethrower, getting some damage going on the squads, but they are out in the open. They are not in any type of cover, which means the flamethrower does not do as much damage as it would want. It is still, of course, damaging and can potentially kill a squad, but it would be, you know, worse for the Volksgrens if they were in any type of cover, especially green or inside buildings. So the Volksgrens in the center are going to be capturing a little bit. We do see back at base, Jesulin has gotten himself his battle group headquarters. For now, though, it seems to be only working as a healing station. He did get the medics, right? Yeah, there they are. Making sure that his troops move out in full force, as strong as possible. Conscripts on the far left-hand side, they do go for that fuel point, managing to lay down a sandbag, stalling against both the Kubelwagen and the Storm Piles. We do see a Volksgren squad moving in that direction to try and provide some support, as we see a second Volksgrenadier squad coming up from the south to get the flank on the conscript squad. Now, the conscript squad will be holding out as long as it can, but with this squad coming up on the flank, it might actually be a little bit too late for it. It still has 5 men strong. If it retreats now, it's okay, but the longer it stays there, the more risk of a wipe for the squad there for VonIvan. And he might not be paying full attention to it right now. Conscript squad does end up retreating. 4 men strong still, so it will take a little bit of extra damage there, but with 4 men left, it should be able to make it out of the way. Jesulin popping his Doctrine, and that is the Scavenge Doctrine, with which he gets himself some Jaeger light infantry popping up behind the buildings, getting themselves on the cutoff point to disconnect the resources on the right-hand side for VonIvan, and that is, of course, the fuel point and the munitions. So VonIvan not looking in good shape right now in regards to control of the map. Guard squads are on the field for VonIvan. We have seen his Doctrine selection since the beginning, though, so to be expected. Combat engineers with their sweepers not able to do much against the Jaeger light infantries. We do see the guards coming up and PTRSing one guy in the face, killing him dead, and forcing the Jaegers to retreat. Right-hand side, stolen Maxim machine gun coming up on the flank on one of VonIvan's remaining Maxims. Storm Pyros coming up and getting on top of the Maxim himself, forcing it to retreat. And we see the stolen one for Jesulin retreating right now, heading back to base. Guard squads using their PTRSs to shoot into the house, causing some structural damage as you see the building itself losing some of its health. However, the men inside faring far worse than the building itself. Down to 3 men, forced to retreat. We'll take a little bit of extra hits there, but nothing too severe. Should be able to make it out intact. Volksgren squad trying to stop the approaching combat engineers. Combat engineers will be getting on top of them with the support of the guards. The PTRS rifles flying, and the flamethrower will be flaming. Kubelwagen should be able to help out there. Maxim machine gun on the right-hand side, again, getting surprised by Storm Pyros, getting themselves right on top of them, and a weird artifact glitch there on the screen. Do not know what the hell that was about. And we see the combat engineer squad retreating from the north, as it needed to. Rocket and warfare on the field for Jesulin, just anticipating some type of vehicle play. For now, we do see Tier 3 having gone down for VonIvan. Nothing so far from it, but considering the tech, I would assume a T-70. We'll see what he ends up going for now, though. We do see the 120mm mortar coming into the field right now for VonIvan. And that'll prove to be a little bit interesting there. Not a lot of stationary units here for Jesulin. He has the stolen Maxim and a Rocket and Warfare, but aside from that, everything else is moving around, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for the mortar to hit stuff. But, you know, still able to help and could get some good, nice hits there. Up in the north again, the conscripts going for that fuel point, getting themselves in that cover. Volksgrenadiers do have upgraded STG-44s. They're going to get themselves right on top of the conscripts. The conscripts will be forced to retreat, but they did manage to decap and cap the point, which will delay and slow down the resource income for Jesulin for a little while, but he does have a decent amount. No additional tech so far for Jesulin. He does have his supply half-track on the field. Currently they're sitting in the base, so we shall see what he ends up going for. I usually If you're going to go to the Shredder Panzer headquarters, most players tend to put it a little bit further out on the field just to defend at least 1 point, but Jesulin is going to instead just go for it straight. I mean, it does actually cover the point on the right-hand side in this forward one, although the angle is a little bit awkward. It's not going to actually be able to hit anything there. So it's not a bad decision, though. So I approve. That's nice defensive positioning there inside the base, but still able to provide a little bit of help. Combat Engineer squad retreating with 1 man left. Able to make it out of there. Guard squad pushing into the center. Jaeger light infantry hold up inside that house. Maxim machine gun trying to dislodge them. PTRS rifles doing what they can, but seemingly impacting the wall. There they go. Storm Piles and Volksgrenadiers coming up right on top of that guard squad. They do have a lot of assault rifles, so they'll be able to provide a lot of damage. However, the 130mm mortar showing its prowess there and throwing some shots into the house. Getting some damage in there and forcing the evacuation. Maxim machine gun on the left-hand side, catching the Storm Piles and the Kubelwagen. Kubelwagen forced to backpedal. Volksgrenadiers moving up close. They do have access to incendiary nades, which it looks like they're going to be popping on the Maxim machine gun. The Maxim machine gun will be packing up and retreating. Conscripts up in the north retreating as well, as the Volksgrens got on top of them and were able to push them off. And we see a Maxim machine gun holding the center for now. As again, VonIvan did get himself tier 3, but nothing from it so far. Now, it could just simply be a stepping stone for higher tech. He does have access to that T-34-85 through his Doctrine, so might be it. But, you know, you do need to build it to be able to tech up, so maybe that's just the case. We'll see. Second guard squad on the field for VonIvan, pumping up his anti-vehicle capacities, even though the Kubelwagen is still on the field, currently set to detection, but whatever. Anyways, guards in the center retreating. Maxim machine gun being used against them, so not able to really do too much. And yeah, the Shredder Panzer headquarters is down for Jesulin, covering 2 points out of the front. Though again, unless he tries to break this hedge, even though I don't know if you can break these ones, doesn't actually have an angle on this point. Storm Piles on the right-hand side. Guards moving up. Getting some good damage in there. Far left-hand side, we see Maxim machine gun and conscripts pushing forward. These are not Storm Piles, Volksgrenadiers were trying to lay down some sandbags to fight against the approaching conscripts. The conscripts will be setting themselves up in the cover, although they don't really have an angle there. Incendiary nade does get tossed on top of them, taking quite a bit of damage. The Volksgrenadiers are on the floor, but the conscripts do take quite a bit of damage and are forced to retreat, unable to go for the point. Maxim machine gun getting flanked here by Volksgrenadiers with assault rifles, and everybody is forced to move back. 2 kills on the mortar there for VonIvan, just throwing shots wherever it can. And not a lot happening right now, as a little bit of a lull goes in. Mortar getting caught out in the open there by a Jaeger light infantry squad. However, it is being covered by a Maxim machine gun inside this house. So the Jaeger light infantry are quickly forced to retreat. We see the other Maxim machine gun getting popped inside the house across the way. The mortar is still there on the field, so it should be able to shoot at this right now. Volksgrenadiers trying to close the distance. They will be able to get in line. Actually, they won't. Oh, they will. Yeah, I was going to say they were going to be able to get in time for an incendiary nade. These guys weren't, but there was a second squad that did throw the incendiary grenade, which forces the Maxim machine gun to pop out of the house. The mortar gets a little bit shot up there and forced to retreat, as we see Maxim fighting at range. Guard squad on the right-hand side, going to get assaulted here by Volksgrens and Storm Piles. Storm Piles removing their sweepers, getting themselves right on top of the squad, and will be taking some damage. Or will be inflicting some damage. The infantry support gun back at base. Not sure if it's stuck there or just a weird positioning, but look at it. Right wedged in between both buildings, providing a little bit of support there. Left-hand side, combat engineers and conscripts going to be capturing some points. We do have the Kubelwagen and the Rocket and Warfare still there on the field, just hold up and not doing much. Now Jesulin does get himself a Ostwind. Ostwind, pretty powerful against infantry. Volkskrans getting on top of those combat engineers. Combat engineers will be torn apart, so they are forced to retreat. And combat engineers with flamethrowers on the other side get some good damage there on the Volks, as they did have heavy cover. But they do, of course, retreat, and we'll be making it out of there. So the Ostwind is on the field, but has not engaged just yet. We'll be moving out soon. And it looks like it's moving itself to the left-hand side. Now we do have a demo charge here on the field. There we go. For VonIvan. Ostwind catching the conscripts. We'll be crushing the sandbag, and the conscripts retreat. Ostwind will not be able to kill them, as it is a very healthy 6-man squad. So no way in hell can it finish it off. It can inflict some casualties, but, you know, not kill off the squad. Maxim machine gun on the right-hand side, forcing the retreat of a Stormpile squad. Guards going for some capping as well. And it looks like the Kubelwagen up north will be capturing some points. So yeah, we do see tier 4 having gone down for VonIvan, so he just, you know, wanted to tech up. And now we see the T-34-85, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Coming into play for VonIvan, a strong unit. Should have an easy time against an Ostwind. There we go. So yeah, something was definitely wrong there. Due to like the placing of the sandbags in this thing. It looks like the infantry support gun just spawned and got stuck there. So we see Jesulin shooting his own units a little bit and breaking the unit free. So T-34-85 on the right-hand side, going to be harassing the Ostwind. The Ostwind does get marked for death, or well, marked vehicle. I think that's a different game, marking for death. However, VonIvan seems to overextend himself a little bit here. Oh, that is very bad luck. Gets himself caught on the wrong side of a Raketen Werfer. The Raketen Werfer will be taking out the T-34-85. Without it being able to really do too much. Does have a damaged engine. Overheated engine is what you would call it, which is basically the same thing. He also has engine damage, which means he can't really do much. And even though he's making a valiant effort here against the Raketen Werfer, pretty sure the Volkskrans will be able to get in range and just simply Faust it. Because it's moving so slow. Too much of a risk there for, yeah, there he goes. Overextended himself, even tried to go for the ram there on the Ostwind, but it was too far away, managed to miss, and yeah, that's not good for VonIvan. Again, did manage to inflict quite a bit of damage. Manages to clear out a Raketen Werfer and do quite a bit of damage to the Volkskrans, forcing them to retreat. However, the Raketen Werfer is not capturable there, as there's only Maxim machine guns in the zone. So yeah. Still though, VonIvan does have control of most of the map right now, or at least has the bigger section. So you see these Volkskrans moving up. Not sure if they were trying to go for the point itself, but they're getting pinned down and just torn apart. Oh, nasty round there by the mortar. Nailing the Volkstern squad and forcing the retreat. Again, no infantry nearby. There are guards and combat engineers currently moving in that direction. But now with the Ostwind online, they won't be able to really do too much. They can button the vehicle, which they do, trying to stop it in its tracks. Get a little bit stationary there. Also marking the vehicle itself for death. Which allows the PTRSs to actually do a lot more damage there to the Ostwind, but by themselves they're not going to be able to do too much. That Raketen Werfer would have gone a long way there for VonIvan, but no, he does not manage to catch that. And we now have a second Ostwind on the field for Jesulin, which just means his infantry is not going to have a good time. His, me being VonIvan, not Jesulin. Jesulin's infantry is actually going to have a great field day right now because there's not going to be a lot of infantry to fight them anymore. VonIvan going for another T-34-85, unless it's 76? Nope, 85. But now he's on the back foot, as he's going to be using it a little bit more defensively. Try and stay on the field and fight off those Ostwinds. And probably not kill them. As we see the mortar back at base, since VonIvan was pushed off of the field, and now Jesulin will be able to just go forth and cap. Victory points 435 to 246, currently in the lead for VonIvan, so he does have some time, able to recover and, you know, stabilize after that loss of his tank. So, you know, it's not all bad, but he does need a little bit of love in there. His conscript squad also got killed at some point. Probably to the Ostwinds. It's only a conscript squad, so I don't think it's important enough to check, I guess. And it's a long game, so... probably not. Okay, anyways. Combat engineers in the center. Overstaying their welcome a little bit. Retreating with a sliver of health left in one man, so lucky there. T-3485 moving around in the center. Going for the Ostwinds, gets a good hit on the already damaged one. Going to be forcing it to back off and disengage. The other one is still there on the lead, getting a good shot there. Oh, nasty hit there by the mortar. Very nice there for VonIvan. Almost wipes the squad, not entirely, but does get a decent amount of damage. And we got 10 kills now on the mortar for VonIvan. The infantry support gun back at base for Jesulin. Only 2 kills. Was stuck most of the engagement there back at base, so it's only been on the field a couple minutes now. So it's got a lot of ground to make up, but it is a good weapon. Volksgrenadiers on the left-hand side, getting caught there by the T-3485, forced to retreat. No support, so nothing is really going to happen. And while these Maxim machine guns open up on the guards as they're trying to cap, I'm going to take myself a drink. Interesting move, and good one, I would say. So Jesulin going to be going for the Jagdpanzer. Going to be making it even more difficult for the T-3485 to do anything. We see the 105 howitzer barrage over on the left-hand side by the fuel. Combat engineers expertly dodging. Oh, almost. It was almost perfect. They did get hit once, but they're still there taking the point, so that's nice. Ostwinds moving up. The Jagdpanzer unable to hit the T-3485, whiffing its first shot. The Maxim machine gun getting torn apart there by the Ostwind. T-3485 trying to fight against them, but not able to do too much. Returning fire, but the slanted armor on the front of that Jagdpanzer is just absorbing the shot without really any issues. And VonIvan is pushed off of the left-hand side. Center map, Maxim machine gun, trying to stop these Volksgrens. They do stop them from capping, and the mortar shots fly. Then we see a bit of a stutter there, and buttoning going down on the Ostwind in the center. T-3485 moving up, getting some shots on it, but not really doing anything to it. Staying right there in the line of sight of the Jagdpanzer, getting hit twice. Going to be needing to move out of the field now and repair, because now it doesn't really have much that it can afford. Second 105 howitzer barrage into the center. Going to be collapsing the house there, removing the defensive location there for VonIvan. And clearing the center for a little bit. The mortar squad moving around. Guard squads are nearby. But yeah, T-3045 moving back near the base. Going to be needing some repairs. As a combat engineer squad sits around there. Now, the Maxim machine gun did get killed at some point. It's over here. Not sure what happened to it. Probably the mortar, considering the explosions I see around there. But it's still there. Hasn't been recovered by Jesulin. Volksgrenadiers moving up. Incendiary grenade right on top of that Maxim machine gun. Squad able to move out of the way. Still 6-man strong, but they are all damaged and has taken some damage. Guard squad retreating through the flames, taking some additional damage as the Ostwinds just barrage across the hedge, getting some nice damage. And the funny thing is that the Kubul wagon is still there, still active, throwing those detections. So 2 combat engineers for VonIvan on the field, getting some repairs going on that T-3485. We do have a second T-34 on the field for VonIvan. So with 2, you know, he does turn it around a little bit. He could potentially I mean, basically he needs to be able to catch one of those tanks, regardless of which one it is, out of position with both of his and be able to take them out. Take one of those out before he loses any of his and come back alive from there. Just to stabilize it a bit, basically. Maxim in the center, going to be losing its veterans. Yes, it's trying to go for that point. Just gets Ostwinds in the face. Down it goes. So unfortunately for VonIvan, he loses another Maxim machine gun. But more importantly, he loses the veterancy, which is the sadder part. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is. He does recover the one on the right-hand side. Going to be retreating. We do have a demo charge right there in the center. T-34-85's going aggressively into the center, trying to, again, catch any vehicle that they can. However, they're not having too much luck. Rocket and Warforce on the flank, going for the tanks. The Ostwinds able to penetrate that armor on the sides. And down goes the second T-34-85 for VonIvan, as his third one is just sitting there in the front of the base, Fausted already with a damaged engine. Getting shot on the side there by a Jagdpanzer. Trying to go for the ram, but the Jagdpanzer's having none of that. Shoots him in the face, and down goes the T-34-85 for VonIvan. Well, we'll see. Still a lot of game to go, but I think that's game there. I don't see any way for VonIvan to recover from that. He doesn't have a heavier tank call-in with the Doctrine, so T-34-85s are really pretty much it. Army value 33 to 70 right now in the lead for Jesulin. Victory points 413 to 175. I mean, again, VonIvan does have quite a bit of lead there in the victory points, so he has time. He should be able to hold. I mean, he could try holding out enough to be able to rebuild more stuff, but I don't know. Back at base, he is now deciding to downgrade to T-34-76s. Because he's now low on resources, and if he wants to have something on the field, well, he's going to have to settle for those. They're not bad, though. They're still good, regardless, but, you know, the main gun on the 85 is just better. Combat engineers on the right-hand side, they did try to go for that strategic point, but now with the Schwerpanzer headquarters online, they are unable to really cap it on autopilot. Jagdpanzer engaging cloaking field. Able to just simply stealth in the center of the map, waiting for a vehicle to pop its ugly head. And we see the Ostwinds back over here getting a little bit of repairs. We also see that the mechanized regiment headquarters is going down for Jesulin. Probably not going to be getting anything from it, but just setting it there out in a defensive location to have some automated repairs. Especially with 3 tanks on the field, it's not a bad idea to have it. Frees up your storm piles. And we see a combat engineer squad down to 1 man retreating from the center, barely able to make it out of there alive for VonIvan. So T-34-76 on the right-hand side, moving along as Maxim machine guns just try to cover. VonIvan doing a decent job at keeping a lot of territory regardless, so keeping Jesulin pinned in a little bit. Does disconnect that fuel point, but right now Jesulin doesn't really need that much fuel regardless. Ostwinds in the center, getting PTRS in the face, taking some damage. That medium armor is not very resistant to the PTRS shots. And while it's not going to die in 1 or 2 shots, it is slowly but steadily going to plink it away. Surprisingly faster than you would think. Generally speaking, though, in 1 engagement, the Ostwind is able to just simply stare down guard squads and take it down if there's nothing else interfering. It will take damage, of course, but, you know, it'll win, so is what I'm trying to say. Left-hand side, combat engineers and Maxims moving out. Center map, the mortar back here still trying to provide some support as the Maxim machine gun. Trying to stop the capping of that center point, but making it very difficult for it to happen as the Ostwind is just simply laying into that Maxim. The other Maxim on the right-hand side forces the retreat of a Volksgrenadier squad. I mean, at the very least, VonIvan did recover all 3 of his weapons. His Maxim machine guns, I should say. So he does have quite a bit of, you know, capacity to stop infantry. Jesulin deciding to call him to yank your light infantries. Has lost his previous ones, but we see these ones popping out from the edge of the map. Looks like he was trying to pop them into a building, but, I mean, there's really no buildings left. I mean, there's this one back here, which he could have popped into, but that's about it. Are there any other buildings? I mean, there's the two in the center, but they're both collapsed, so nobody's going to spawn there. I think this one might have been, but it's already collapsed. Yeah, there's not a lot of buildings in this map, so... Again, he could have popped them back here just to try and harass, but probably would have ended up getting himself killed. So finally, though, VonIvan does get himself an AT gun. Much needed AT gun. A little bit late on that, but at least he has one now. Grenade does fly at those Volksgrens. They manage to dodge out of the way as the guard squads move up. AT gun does get a good shot from the side there. Ostwinds taking some damage. And we see a nasty shot flying through the hedge at the T-34. 76. He's forced to move back, and we'll be needing some repairs soon. The mortar, the 130mm mortar, is still on the field there for VonIvan, but it has been brought down to one man. Ends up shooting one additional shell there before it decides to pack up and retreat, doing it by itself. Difficult shopping cart to lug around, but it is still able to get out of there. So the AT gun, proving its usefulness. Able to fend off those Ostwinds. Well, we see the 105mm howitzer barrage getting called right there into the center. There is a combat engineer squad relatively close to the point of origin, so it could actually get itself killed. So far, seemingly dodging most of the shots. Oh, one shot did land on top of it. It gets one kill, but it landed mostly inside the house, which means that it absorbed the bigger part of the damage. Guards and Maxims on the left-hand side. Ostwinds not really allowing them to do much. And I mean, at this stage, Jesulin can just simply hold off. I can't see it anymore, damn it. But, yeah, I mean... He's got all three buildings. He could essentially call in a King Tiger at any point when he has the resources, so... He is at 84 pop cap, so I don't think he can actually call one in, but, you know, it's an option, which is going to suck for VonIvan if that happens. So the AT gun in the center, getting some shots going at that Ostwind, getting harassed here by infantry and the infantry support gun. They do manage to cap that center point, though. So again, VonIvan still bleeding the points for Jesulin, not giving up, putting a tough fight. And we see a combat engineer squad, well, again, with a sliver of health and one man left, able to make it out of there. That's like the third time that squad has ran for its life and win. One. Maxim machine gun on the left-hand side. We see Volksgrenadiers pushing forward, incendiary grenade getting tossed on top of it. VonIvan is forced to retreat. And we see yet another 105 getting called in, this time right on top of that Maxim machine gun. Maxim machine gun packing up, retreating, managing to dodge the initial shot. One stray artillery shot almost hitting the T-34. Combat engineers are in very dangerous grounds there, as a single shot would have eliminated all of them. T-34-76 getting a good shot flying at the Ostwinds. The Ostwind taking some damage, but all the infantry is forced to retreat as the AT gun was sent back. It's over here in the center now, moving over to the right-hand side. But the T-34-76 getting some good shots flying there through the hedges, getting some additional damage going on the Ostwinds. T-34-76 now getting harassed here by the Jagdpanzer. Jagdpanzer will be moving back, but the T-34-76 is now damaged again. Almost at about half health, so it can't really hope to take too much. It looks like VonIvan will be trying to go for another T-34-85. Going for the upgraded choice there. And we just hear the Maxim machine guns laying into a Jaeger light infantry squad. Grenade does get tossed, but they were already long gone, so nothing really happens there. VonIvan's guards taking quite a bit of punishment there. The Ostwind Gets shot in the rear by the AT gun, taking some additional damage and being forced to pack up and get the hell out of the way. And the AT gun moving up, we see the Volkskrantz T-34-85 pushes forward, and we see the Stormpios on the right-hand side going for that strategic point. Going to be forced to retreat, but not a lot happens there. Left-hand side, we hear a Maxim machine gun fighting with a Kubelwagen, apparently. It is worth noting and remembering that there are 6 men in that squad, and 5 of those have rifles and are able to actually shoot back. So while they're not as good as other squads, they're still able to provide some damage. So the Kubelwagen was taking some additional damage at close. Maxim machine gun, though, quickly forced to retreat as the Ostwind rides up right on top of it. Combat engineers going for that strategic point will probably be forced to retreat as well. And center map, the Maxim machine gun trying to do its best to stop the approaching infantry. Volksgrenadiers moving up as guards sit on the point. Another 105 getting called in right on top of everything for Jesulin. And by everything, I mean the Maxim machine gun. T-34-85 moving out of the way. The guards holding their ground in the center point. Whoa! Nasty shot right on top of them, killing 2 of its members, but 4 still remain. And the Jaeger Light Infantry taking quite a bit of damage. Almost gets itself taken out as the infantry support gun is laying into the 120mm mortar of VonIvan. Now that is a veteran C3 mortar, 22 kills in total during the game, so it's been doing quite well. AT gun getting some good shots there, managing to miss that additional shot on the Ostwinds, so the Ostwinds stay alive. And we see, of course, as mentioned previously, the King Tiger is coming into play for Jesulin. The finishing move, endgame. I mean, there is an AT gun, but I mean, I don't see these T-34s doing much against the King Tiger. We'll see. Of course, if Jesulin just simply suicides it into the enemy base, like we've seen a lot of times happen, then that's not going to be good for Jesulin, but considering who the player is, I don't think that's going to happen. AT gun does get a good long-distance shot at the Jagdpanzer, but a little bit ill-timed there as the King Tiger was barreling right on top of it. AT gun does get decrewed. There's nothing nearby to recrew with. The guard squad is getting torn apart. T-34-85 getting some shots flying at the Button Ostwind. But the AT gun does get destroyed here by the King Tiger. Down goes the T-34-85. T-34-76 sitting there in the front, getting some shots at the Jagdpanzer, but not even able to penetrate that side armor, which is unfortunate. And then we see a flamethrower getting dropped in the world. There was also something over here that got dropped, which I am not entirely sure who picked it up. Oof. And T-34-76 goes down for VonIvan. So if I said it before, back in the middle of the game, I'll say it again. That should pretty much be game. I don't see VonIvan coming back from that now. He does have a substantial lead, 300-point lead on Jesulin, and only needs to bleed him for 71 points. But, I mean, it's a very difficult situation. I mean, he has a 32 value army versus a capped army at 100. So that's very, very hard to do anything against. Volkskrantz unable to really pick up weapons. Did these guys end up picking up one of the weapons? No, they have their own, so that's probably why. We see the Maxim machine gun out there on the field. King Tiger pushing forward. There is an AT gun there back at base for VonIvan. Oh, Jesus. The Tiger retaliating. Getting a good shot off, killing 4 of the members there. However, though, the weapon is able to reinforce itself on the fly, so, well, because of the positioning. So VonIvan manages to stave off death for a couple extra minutes here, and is going to be pushing out a little bit forward. Flamethrower does get picked up by a guard squad, which is a weird pickup for them, but at least they have it. Ostwind, though, and the King Tiger just tear them apart. Second guard squad Trying to do what they can. The AT guns. Oof. AT guns doing what they can. However, we see a marked vehicle plane crashing on top of one of the Maxim machine guns and clearing out a squad. The Stormpile squad on the right-hand side trying to cap a little bit of extra points, victory points, but... So yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that VonIvan's lost this one. I'm going to assume, though, that obviously because it's a tournament setting, you're going to fight till your very last breath to see how much it can impact, because, of course, if he can bleed a couple extra victory points... in most tournaments, you know, victory point count. It matters how many points your opponent ended up with. So, like, even if you win, you know, because you ended up with 71, it might lead to, if there's like an ace game and such, you know, faction selection, stuff like that. So, it is still important. So, I can only assume he's going to try and fight for his right to party. Flamethrowers going off there on the guard squad, providing a unique fighting experience for them. However, shots continue to fly. The PTRS rifle gets dropped, and the Volksgrens continue to cap. Jaeger Light Infantry squad, though, unable to stop the guards over here. These guys do take some hits. Oof. But the King Tiger quickly putting an end to any hope. Oof, down goes the guard squad. The mortar, the only thing alive. And I know it's not popular to do, but I'm going to speed it up at least. You know, 2 times speed at least, just to get through this. Because, yeah, I don't think there's... I mean, there's no way in hell that VonIvan can come back from this, so yeah. In fact, let's go ahead and speed it up even more. So, yeah. Jesulin basically just setting up for the kill here. We see VonIvan not even building anything. I mean, yeah, he has resources. Well, he doesn't have the manpower, I guess, so yeah. Ostwinds, right there at the front of the base here. For VonIvan, 105 getting called in right on top of the base sector. Not doing a lot of damage to the building itself. Brings it down to a sliver, but still alive. Everything's just falling in. The King Tiger's just sitting there outside the base, able to catch everything. Shots continue to fly from the AT gun, keeping those vehicles at bay, but, you know, at this point, VonIvan doesn't have any territory. Triple cap still going up against them. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit more. Yeah, let's just go 8 times. There you go. Everything moves out, moves back, moves out, moves back. Nothing really going on. The right-hand side, we do see a T-34-85 back into play for VonIvan, which could potentially help out. Does go for that victory point, trying to slow down the bleed, giving himself a little bit of extra time, but what extra time? I don't know. Front of the base, Tiger moves up, shots flying, grenades right on top of that guard squad. Guard squad getting bombarded. AT gun goes down as the King Tiger eliminates it. The T-34-85 on the right-hand side trying to back off, but it's going to have to back off into range of that Tiger. As the Maxim machine gun is going for that strategic point at the edge of the map. T-34-85 moves up. Jagdpanzer gets a good shot flying at its face. Goes for another shot, but it impacts on the carcass of another tank. And second T-34-85 comes into play. Looks like VonIvan is just going to go for the ram. Is it? Yeah, I think he is. Oh. Goes for the ram on this one, but it ends up breaking, and there goes the second one. So I can only assume that now he's going to call a game. Anytime. I'll go ahead and speed it up. Oh, jeez. Ah. Okay, that was painful there at the end. And GG, well played for VonIvan. So, yeah. So, bit of an unnecessarily long game. The game was over, like I said, pretty much early, but there was still a chance for VonIvan. But after that second lost engagement with his tanks, that was pretty much it. But I guess never give up, never surrender prevails still at some point. Anyways, guys, I do hope you at least enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.